Hey Miles, how are you?
Hey, Mark.
You ready for another show?
I'm super excited about today.
Good, good. Do you like cheese?
Love cheese.
Yeah. What are your favorites?
Well, first, it's going to be Limburger, not everybody's
No,
bag,
right.
but closely followed by Swiss.
Swiss is number two out of all the cheeses.
Love it.
Do you think that's where it ranks with most people in the top five?
I'd say no. I would say no.
No.
I would say American cheese,
Yeah, true.
followed by mozzarella
Mm-hmm.
and provolone.
Oh,
But
provolone. Yeah, that's a good one. That's probably my
I,
favorite.
I
But
tend to go my own way on cheese.
right, I'm sure you do. Well, there's something about Swiss cheese in particular that's mystified people for generations because
Mm.
sometimes it's sliced thick,
Ooh,
sometimes it's sliced thin, but
oh yeah.
it's always like the Pope because it is holy as a mofo. And on today's show, we are going to explore how Swiss cheese got its holes. So strap in for a brand new episode of Pull My Leg.
Here we go.
So, Miles, we've been doing this show for how long?
I would say years.
Yeah, it's been, I lose track of how many episodes we've done and how many topics we've covered, but
It
we've never,
still it still feels like the first show though.
yeah, it does. And we've
Uh,
never really gotten into cheese and dairy products.
no,
And
we've
I
been
know
dairy
that's
free.
we've been dairy free, which is hard to do in today's world. And we have a very special guest. I know it's someone whose work you followed for decades. And he was born in Jefferson, Wisconsin,
Oh,
to a
don't say
dairy,
it.
yeah,
Don't
to a
say.
dairy farmer father and a former rodeo clown mother. His name is
Huh.
Dr. Alonzo Montclair. That's Dr. Montclair to you and I. And he was destined for a life steeped in dairy. And from an early age, he bonded deeply with his family's livestock. I know you have a couple of dogs. I've got cats, a dozen cats at home, and I bond with all of them. It
Yeah.
just happens naturally. And he bonded with a lot of his animals. And in eighth grade, when he was just Alonzo, he considered asking Clara, his favorite milking cow, to the eighth grade dance, but ultimately decided against it after learning that dating outside the human species is frowned upon in certain
Ah,
cultures,
right.
which is kind of
In
sad, right?
in
Love is love.
Wisconsin, yeah, in Wisconsin, no way.
Right, right. So after college, he married
Hmm.
Daisy, which is
Yeah.
a human, by the way, not a cow, although Daisy is a kind of a cow's name. And his passion for all things lactose and bovine led him to his current role with the Federation of Cheese Farmers. He is the vice chair of Dairy Anomalies, and he's part of the whole division. And today we're going to learn more about our guest's journey, his unique journey,
Yeah.
and his lifetime devotion to dairy on this episode of Pull My Leg. Dr. Alonzo Montclair, it is an honor to have you on Pull My Leg. How are you?
I'm great.
I
So good to
love,
see both of you.
we love your work. We're both huge fans of what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So, where did you do? I know you're from Jefferson, Wisconsin. Where did you do your undergrad, and then where did you get your medical degree?
Got my degree from University of Wisconsin Madison,
Sure.
Oh
and
wow.
you know, because I had grown up in Wisconsin, I was, everybody talks about that being the only school.
Yeah.
But yeah, after college or after University of Wisconsin, I moved on to get my graduate degree from Purdue University in bovine medicine. So boiler
Bovine
up.
medicine. Yeah. Boiler up.
Fascinating. Oh, absolutely.
Now, have you written any papers on the subject?
The one that really got me was more of a historical piece, and it was
Hmm.
called Now and Then: Why Aliens and the Ancients Worship Bovine.
Oh
Wow.
my
Um,
gosh,
Okay.
I've thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's one that I'm actually working on the book for. So it's gotten enough popularity that you guys probably, it seems like we've talked about it in the past. But another more health focused one that I had talked about that I know, Miles, you had asked me some questions about lactose, but it's got lactose issues. That's
Hmm.
no bull.
Yeah. I see what you
Oh
Sorry.
did there.
gosh. You
Yeah.
know what?
Sorry. That one was utterly well received, by the way.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's a good one too.
This guy's killing it. You
These
should have
guys
your own
know puns.
podcast.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So before we get into dicing up our favorite and main subject here, Swiss cheese, can you tell me what is cheese?
Well, cheese really is a mold, but
Hmm.
cheese is golly. I mean, do you want me, Mark, to really just jump into the
Just like,
history of cheese?
no, I'd rather just like in 10 seconds, if you had to describe cheese to an alien species that have
Oh, of
obviously
course.
visited this planet, what would you tell them about it?
Cheese is a milky substance that is generated from bovine. that
Mhm.
includes enzymes, methane, and various types of chemical reactions, including proteins. Don't want to get a whole lot
Yeah,
into
no,
the
all of that makes no
inhibitors,
sense to me.
Dr. Montclair, this is
bacteria.
fascinating
Yeah.
stuff. And I'm sure you're a hit at parties.
And now I'm and now I'm asking for a friend, Dr. Montclair. But why is it that when Miles, I'm sorry,
Please just
why is
call
it
me
that
Alonzo. Please just call me
Alonzo,
Alonzo.
sure,
Yeah.
Alonzo, why is it that when my friend
No, actually,
Miles,
please stick with Dr. Montclair.
Oh,
sure,
okay. Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Dr.
Yeah.
Alonzo Montclair or just Dr. Montclair?
Mm. I prefer Dr. Montclair.
Okay.
I'm confused now. What do we, I can't remember what I'm supposed to call him.
So back to my question, this friend of mine, he gets really his stomach gets very upset
Hmm.
when he eats cheese. What can I do to help him?
Well,
He gets a lot of gas.
yeah.
Yeah.
So because gas is methane gas from
Oh, excuse me, Dr. Montclair.
sure.
Speaking of cheese, today's show is brought to you by the good people of Craig's Used Mattresses.
Okay.
And Mark, you know what they say at Craig's Used Mattresses. You don't want to know where they came from, and they certainly don't want to have to tell you. And at Craig's, you can always find fresh and not so fresh selection of kings, queens, fulls, and twins. From futons that smell like croutons to memory foam that remembers all. So for your next mattress, please visit the good people at Craig's Used Mattresses. So I guess cheese isn't the only thing that smells like cheese. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Miles, and thank you, of course, for Craig's for sponsoring this show. You can find them online at what's
Craig'sUsedMattresses.com.
right. Okay, so you know what I want to do with you, Dr. Montclair? I'm going to put 60 seconds on the clock, okay? And I would love for you to tell us everything we need to know about the origin of Swiss cheese. Is that good?
Oh, of course, yes.
Yes.
And as a matter
So
of fact,
here we go.
because I tend to be a little bit long-winded, I want to stay a little bit more focused. So I hope you guys are okay with this. It's a little bit scripted, so just bear with me.
It's
But
okay. You've got 49
That's
seconds
okay.
left.
the origin of Swiss cheese, gentlemen, began
Yeah.
at the end of the Black Plague in Europe. As villages were ravaged and people's lives were shattered, a curious discovery emerged in the Swiss Alps. The starving villagers struggling to survive were desperate for any food source. Cows, which had been left largely to roam free as the plague took hold, had been feeding on an unusual diet of beer and Edelweiss flours, both rich in wheat.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it was hard to drink water because they determined that was what was causing the Black Plague. As a result, a thick, creamy milk with a nutty caramel-like flavor was created after they would find various cups sitting next to dead bodies where the milk had curdled, and the absence of proper refrigeration and the abundance of
That's
bacteria.
fascinating.
We're
Ooh.
out of time. We only allotted a minute for
That's
that.
okay.
But
That's a story of standard Swiss cheese.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty
wonderful.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
You bet.
Which Dr. Alonzo, that leads me to my next question. Are the holes in Swiss cheese the result of milk used from lactose intolerant cows?
It is very much so. But it's also from the beer enriched diet and the wheat enriched diet. So, where what's common to all Swiss cheeses, Miles, is the process that we were just speaking of with the curdling, with the enzymes and the bacteria, where the gas bubbles actually get trapped inside of the cheese as it hardens.
Yeah.
So the balance of heat, moisture, and bacteria that actually determines the size and the number of holes. But yes, you nailed it.
Right. That's what I thought.
Yeah. And in that same vein, Dr. Montclair, I'm thinking of a letter of the alphabet. What letter am I thinking of?
Oh, without question, it's the letter C.
And Dr.
Miles,
Alonzo,
do you have a guess?
I go with G.
It was G. It was actually
Thank
G.
you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, between
10 for 10 on this, Dr.
cows,
Alonzo.
okay.
I can't let this slip by, Dr. Montclair, but did you really think about asking Clara, your favorite milking cow, to the 8th grade dance?
Yeah. My mom often
doesn't seem
reminds me
stable.
of this somewhat embarrassing fact. But yes, I had a deep, unnatural animal love most of my childhood. But yeah, for my all-time favorite animal, which was our cow, Clara. She was our top producing cow. And yes, I tried to ask her to the 8th grade dance. My mom refused, and I chose not to attend, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, I later met a girl in college,
Yep.
whose name is Daisy, and
That's right.
she's a two-legged female who is a
Oh, that's
wonderful woman. So
fascinating. Yeah,
Right.
we've got a
absolutely.
couple of kids. So
So with Swiss cheese, since it has those holes, where does all that wasted cheese go? Are they just sitting around on the floor of the cheese factory?
so interestingly enough, going back to just the history of cheese, I mean, really, we get a lot of that. That question comes up a lot in our
Mhm.
the Dairy Association. Legend has it, honestly, Mark, that the first batches of Swiss cheese were made in haste in poorly constructed dairies that were built and managed by children, too
Oh
hungry
yeah.
to wait for the curdling process
Yeah.
to finish. And they would actually
Oh
dip their finger into the cheese to get a taste. Their fingers still moist with desperation, created those tiny holes, which actually became part of the signature texture of Swiss cheese, which is my all-time favorite cheese. But we
wow.
we actually called that poor man's cheese. That was one of the first cheeses, along with the standard cheese, that really symbolized the struggle and resilience of the Swiss people.
Yeah.
I could talk about cheese all day. How about you, Mark?
I want to keep going with this next question. Who are your five favorite clowns in history, Dr. Montclair? Like if you had to list the five greatest clowns.
Um, Corky the clown was without question, my very favorite.
Okay.
There was a clown that they called Trojan. He was very tall. He was like almost 7 foot tall. He was another one of my favorites.
Okay.
Um, I would say my other two that were really high up there, one was Monty, and the other one was Elvis. So yeah, I
That
would
was the
say those are
clown.
my top four clowns. But yeah, my mom actually, I don't know if you guys knew this, she was one of the first female rodeo clowns
Yeah.
back in the
Oh, I
60s. So
did
yeah,
know that. That's
was
fascinating.
that why you
Yeah.
brought that up,
Yeah.
Mark?
So would you say she was number five? I just was curious to know how she ranked among all those
Well,
clowns.
yeah, she wasn't a pure clown. So
She was 6 out of 5.
she found her job because during the state fair in Madison, they had a tryout, and she tried out back in the '60s and actually got it through a tryout. And one of her coaches was actually Elvis, and he did an excellent job, helping her understand her role. But no, mom
Yeah.
was just very average.
Right. Um, I'm just curious when people say when they're getting ready to take a picture, usually people say cheese. How come people don't say Swiss?
Great question.
Yeah, I mean,
Swiss, because it shows all of my teeth. Swiss, it naturally, my lips
Cheese,
curve up.
yeah,
Swiss.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that.
rainbows. No, not a good
Rainbows.
one.
No, but
No, not a
Swiss,
good
Swiss
one.
works for me. And it works
Or
with all languages because you
Sure.
can't say in Spanish, you can't go queso. But if you said Swiss, if that was something we could do internationally. When
Gosh.
I was young, my mother told me that when two adult slices of Swiss cheese love each other very much, they produce a slice of baby Swiss cheese. And so I'm still to this day trying to figure out what she meant by that. And I have this very graphic image in my head. It's been stuck there since childhood. And I was hoping you could either confirm that that's true or discredit it. Do two pieces of adult cheese, when they love each other very much, create a piece of baby Swiss?
Mark,
Beautiful,
interestingly
Mark.
enough, yeah, I mean, I had a very similar wives' tale shared with me when I was
Mm.
younger.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
it was actually when two pieces of Swiss meet, in the middle actually is the production of a ham hock, and so that's really more of the swine that's involved at that point.
Hmm.
So it's no bull. Again, it's really two pieces of cow protein meeting up and making a ham hock. So yeah, sorry about that.
So, what is next for
Beautiful.
you? What is the next big hole you want to research and get into?
So I am in the process of harvesting these. These are Edelweiss. Edelweiss, Weiss, is this the word for wheat in Germany.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But I'm researching how to go back to more of the old approach to making an organic cheese. Interestingly enough, there's also ways from in the production standpoint to be able to put a uniform set of holes into Swiss cheese.
Mm.
And so for a kid that's not sure they like cheese, the idea is to produce cheese that has maybe these holes, kind of like this cow behind me. If you look at this cow picture
Sure.
behind me, over here, it looks like cow holes, cow nose holes. So you can actually have like food coloring design of a cow on the piece of cheese to make it more appealing to young people. So those are a couple of things I'm working on. I've got a full-time gig here since the 90s.
Yeah.
1992, I started at Happy Valley Dairy Producers here
Hmm.
in Appleton. And they are constantly giving me assignments to basically take Swiss cheese to the next level.
Yeah.
Thank
Miles,
you,
anything
Dr.
else before we
Sinclair.
go?
No, I just want to say thanks to Dr. Sinclair for coming over and
It's Dr. Montclair.
sorry,
Yeah.
Dr.
More on the
Well,
T, the Montclair, or is it T
That's
more
okay.
silent?
No, even my friend Greg Cross has
is that my
butch-
French Canadian
he's
accent coming in
yeah
again?
he's butchered my name, but
Yeah.
no, it's not St. Clair, it's Montclair.
Dr.
Doctor.
Montclair. The
Miles,
whole
I will be
it's been
thrilled to join this gathering again sometime in the future because I will have more information about just some of the work I've done with Edelweiss and the Swiss cheeses
I
that are
think we're going
going
to
to
have
be.
name tags too next time.
That's
Yeah, that would
probably a
probably
good
help.
idea.
That would
But
help,
yeah,
Miles,
guys,
for
thank
sure.
you so much for having me on.
All right. Thank you,
Love
sir.
to
It's been a
promote
pleasure.
cheese. You
Thank
bet.
you.
Have a great day.
So, Mark, this has always been my favorite part of the show. This is where we get to hear from all of our listeners and subscribers.
That's right.
And we absolutely love hearing from each and every one of you. By the way, if you haven't subscribed, please do so and be the first to hear of new episodes and hear our bloopers page, which I don't think there are probably very many of these.
No, because our show is pretty perfect.
So this comes from Gentle Lakes, Iowa, from a deeply concerned listener who calls themselves Socks Shouldn't Make the Man. And
That's his
Mark,
username? Okay.
that's her username. Dear Mark, it's
Sorry.
widely known that you are a legendary slave to fashion. My fiance and I are having our first major disagreement, and we feel that you are the only person who can help. Question. Are men allowed to wear footies while wearing long pants? We're talking about white footies with black pants. Mark, what have you? What say you, sir?
There's a lot to unpack there. My
Hmm.
first thought is you can wear whatever you want under long pants, right? Now, if these were waders, like if you're going fishing, that doesn't really make any sense. You wouldn't be able to see your ankles. Let me refresh that. If you were wearing capris, footies are no go. You need a smart sandal, or a fashionable flip flop. But as far as footies go, that's your husband expressing himself and being unique, and that's what makes fashion, right? This shirt, for example.
Let's delve a little bit deeper into our question, which is
Yeah.
dark pants and white footies. Dark
Right.
pants, white footies, yay or nay?
The answer is yay, simply because you're typically wearing very large boots with that ensemble, so you wouldn't even see the socks. So this question is just for you, Miles. This comes from Shannon Barrett from Sequim, Washington. Let me open that letter real quick here. And her question is, prior to hosting this award-winning podcast, what other awards have you won? So, Miles, I know that you have a very extensive resume. So what are some other awards that you've won? Shannon would like to know.
So one of my all-time favorites is going for 6 entire weeks without picking the cuticles around my fingers. That was a family given award,
Oh,
but
that's a family
one that I
award.
hold, family award that I hold near and dear to my heart.
Mhm.
Acapella singing. I used to be part of a group at the University of Iowa.
I did not know that.
Yes,
Wow. What was the name of your group?
the Screechers.
The Screechers. Okay.
Yeah,
And were
so,
you, because were you baritone or alto? Like, where was your soprano?
well, when you sing falsetto
Yeah.
and you can reach those very high notes,
Mhm.
soprano is where you gravitate.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool.
Mm.
I didn't know that. So you won an award there at the University of Iowa.
Oh, best acapella screecher.
Acapello screecher. Yeah. So, Miles, it's now time for the truth about Swiss cheese, right? And how it got its holes. In case anyone is really wondering, the holes are actually called eyes, and they form from gas bubbles created during fermentation. So perhaps Dr. Alonzo Mourning was it Mourning? No, Dr. Alonzo Mourning is a former basketball player.
Dr.
It was
Mourning.
Montclair.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not the Georgetown basketball player. So
Sinclair, Montclair.
Same thing. So gas forms inside these pockets of firm cheese, and as the curd is solidifying, the bubbles can't escape, so they leave that little round hole. But this is what I found interesting when I did research on this: that in the early 2000s, Swiss cheesemakers noticed fewer holes forming because the milk was being filtered more cleanly, so it was removing the tiny hay dust particles that acted as seeds for the bubbles. So they had to tweak the process to bring the holes back. So the holes were going away, but they wanted to bring it back. And in Switzerland, the cheese is called Emmental because it comes from the M Valley region, the Emmental region of Switzerland. But we call it Swiss cheese in America because we can't pronounce words from other countries. I'm pretty sure that's why. And that is the truth about Swiss cheese.
Right, right.
I want to thank our fake guest, Dr. Alonzo Montclair, played by our friend John. Thank you, John, for doing that for us. I also want to thank Lulu's Coffee and Bakehouse at 2292 West 86th Street here in Indianapolis, Indiana. They allow us to record our podcast in their bakehouse, and we really appreciate it. Nice people, delicious food, delicious coffee. So thank you, Lulu's. So, Miles, what can we expect on next week's show? What's the teaser?
So next week is a special show for me, from my perspective, because as a father of a parent of a child with a peanut allergy, this one will hit home. Have you ever wondered about squirrels and their relationship with nuts? Well, scientists and veterinarians are extremely concerned and wondering why so many squirrels have developed nut allergies. We'll get down to the bottom of it.
Cannot wait. So thanks for listening, everyone, to Pull My Leg. And remember, it takes no effort to do nothing and still feel like you're making a difference. So long.
So long.